is made by a company called Microsoft. Now, most computers made by people like Hewlett Packard and Dell, and Microsoft even makes their own brand of computers. Hewlett Packard and Dell and Lenovo and Acer and all these other names, they don't make the operating system. They make the hardware, and they buy the operating system from Microsoft and install it on the computer and then sell it to you as a package. So they sell it as a bundle. There's some other operating systems out there. People that buy Macs get a Mac operating system. People that buy iPhones and iPads get an iOS operating system. Those are made by Apple. And people that buy Android or Chrome devices get an operating system that's made by Google. So kind of Google, Apple, and Microsoft are the big three when it comes to operating systems. But your operating system is typically pre-installed on your computer, and it's included in the purchase price of your computer when you buy it. So that's how you get it. And sometimes the company you buy it from will have support, but Windows also has troubleshooting and support tools directly from Microsoft too. Okay. What you look at when you look at your monitor, your display, is called your desktop. There's a background image that is on the desktop. There is a taskbar that's a row of information and icons on the bottom. There's a start button that opens up the start menu. There are some tiles that appear when you open up the start menu, and there's typically a search box or a search function that lets you search for anything, the web, other things. We'll take a look at each of these things. So knowing your way around your desktop is kind of convenient. Now, a lot of people don't realize that the right click button on their mouse will open up menus almost all the time, no matter what you click it on. So you can click it on your desktop, and we're used to clicking the upper left mouse button because that's what we use to select things. But the upper right mouse button will display a menu 95% of the time when you click on it, no matter what you're doing. If you're working in a document, if you're on your desktop, if you're in your taskbar, there's just all kinds of things that right-click menu. And we were doing the class earlier on organizing files. I was showing people that you can rename a file by right-clicking when you're selecting a file. So take advantage of right-clicking. It's always got some options there for you. Now, Windows got its name from Windows. That's how they got it. I mean, now they're not the only window computer out there. So what happens when you open up a window when you open up an application on Windows, it opens up a window on your desktop, doesn't it? And you probably thought about this a lot. I know, I can tell. And so when you open up another window application, it opens up another window. And when you open up another application, it opens up another window. And so applications work inside of Windows, okay? And these windows can be moved around, they can be closed, they can be minimized. So the upper right corner of every window has an X to close the application and the window, a button in the middle that resizes the window, and a minus sign that minimizes the window. Doesn't close the application, it just minimizes it. But you can keep windows open, and the more windows you have open, the more applications you're running on your computer at the same time. And so, but it's possible to have a lot of windows open at the same time. But that's how it got the name Windows. Okay, so, and they just kind of got to it first. Okay, we're going to take a look at some basic operations, power, using the power button, understanding what happens with settings there, using search, doing a security and update check. So we're going to check those things out and take a look. Okay, so maybe I've prompted some questions here from anybody. Anybody have, say, gee, Bob, I don't understand this about Windows. Maybe it's part of Windows, maybe it's not. But we'll take a look at some of the things that Windows gives you that you might not have known about. Okay. All right, well, let's dive in the deep end of the pool, right? It's like we could take the shallow end, but we're going to dive into the deep end. And so I'm going to go to my Windows desktop here. Now, on Windows, you have a desktop, you have a taskbar at the bottom. I'm going to change my little cursor here so it highlights things as I go around. So at the bottom is this taskbar. And the most common thing that people do in Windows is to use the start menu. You can have things on your desktop. These are folders and application icons that I have on my desktop, but I also use the start menu. The start menu is going to be used for a lot of things. There's also some information icons here on the right, the date and time, your speaker volume, your internet connection, your battery power. I have an update and I'm connected to iCloud. And sometimes there's some hidden icons here that just show up and they're called hidden. And one of them is Windows security. So we'll take a look at that in a minute. Then I've got some common things that I use: Mail, my Edge browser, settings, File Explorer. Each of these is an icon that opens up a function or an application on my computer. The start menu is where pretty much everything starts. When you click on the start menu, on the left, you have a power button, and you've got settings, pictures, documents, and your Microsoft account. Okay. If you're logged into your Microsoft account, it'll show you. Microsoft, like Google and Apple, has accounts now. Documents will take you to your documents folder. So if you want to get to your documents quickly, you can just hit the start button, go up to documents, click on that, and it'll open up your documents folder. If I want to close this window, I just go up to the upper right, click the X. On start, again, I can look at pictures, I can look at settings, or I can look at power. Okay, so let's check power. Power gives me a couple of options. Okay, now, one thing that happened was that while I was using my Windows computer today, there was an update available that requires a restart. I didn't want to restart before I did a class, so I just held off doing that. But I have the option normally just to shut down or put it to sleep or restart it. But I can update and